I, female 26, just got engaged, but unfortunately my soon-to-be mother-in-law is a nightmare. We're currently renovating a part of our place and she's been lent a key in the meantime because she keeps coming over uninvited under the guise of helping clean up, but she just likes to snoop and interfere. I do martial arts and take my engagement ring off before class. One day, I came home from an afternoon class and my engagement ring was not in the jewellery dish that I usually leave it in. So I asked her about it and she told me that she'd taken it to a jeweller to get it cleaned. She looked super smug about it, and when I asked which jeweller, she pretended she couldn't remember. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of reacting to it, so I just let it slide for a couple of days. A couple of days pass and I ask her about it again, and she's super vague, still pretending she can't remember which jeweller and saying she's too busy to go pick it up anytime soon. So I said, "Wow, I really feel for that jeweller. I hope nothing happens to her." She asked what I meant, and I told her that my superstitious Brazilian grandmother had performed some traditional ritual on it that's usually known to curse anyone who takes or handles the ring other than the owner. She looked uneasy and asked me a couple more questions about this ritual, and I made up some story about how my mother's ring had been taken by a burglar who was crushed by a pillar of cement on his way out of the house. I made this entire ritual up, and while I do have a Brazilian grandmother, she didn't do some ritual to my ring. The next day, my fiancé told me while I was out that she was there to clean up a bit. So, lo and behold, I get home, she'd already left, and find my ring where I'd left it. It didn't look any cleaner than it had before. LOL. A week later, I received an abusive call from her saying she'd been in a minor car accident and she was blaming me and my witch doctor grandmother, saying she was now cursed for having touched it. I passed the phone to my fiancé, who tried to calm her down, but she was hysterical. I told my fiancé what I told her and he scolded me a bit because we both know how she is and I should have known she'd react this sort of way. It's been a further week since then and she refuses to talk to me and keeps slandering me to my fiancé. Overall, he sort of recognises how ridiculous she's being, but the drama of the situation is making me wonder if the whole curse tale was taken a bit far. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, that's hilarious. The nerve of her taking your ring. She deserves the curse. I'm just sorry it's causing trouble for you. I kind of think your fiancé earned it by tolerating her behaviour and not having changed the locks already. Also, have you checked your ring? I don't understand why she'd take it unless it was to keep it away from you. Does she disapprove of the engagement, or of you taking it off, even if it's for a good reason? Was she going to swap stones or claim to have lost it? I'd really need to know her motivation for taking it. You might want to come clean before she meets your grandmother at the wedding, though. And I think her taking the ring was just some sort of misguided power play on her part. There would be no positive resolution on the mother-in-law's part since she admitted taking it. Maybe if she'd said that she didn't know anything, she could try to manipulate her son to believe OP didn't care enough and lost it. Totally agree with the not the idiot, and also, change the locks ASAP, don't allow thieves free access. She may have taken the ring to switch out the stones for fake diamonds. I'm a jeweller. I'd say you'd be shocked at the idiocy that some people try to pull with jewellers and jewellery, but if you read these stories much, nothing will surprise you. I'd advise OP to check the stones to make sure her monster-in-law didn't change them out. OP, you should tell her that there's no way that she could have been cursed since she took the ring with good intentions, and the curse only curses people with bad intentions. You were worried about the jeweller because some jewellers will steal rings and swap them out for fake stones, and you didn't know how honest the jeweller was because you didn't know them at all. I'll bet she'll choke on her own lies rather than admit she stole it to steal it. Update. Thank you all so much for the comments. Fiancé and I have had a big chat and he admits that he has to step up when it comes to his mother. He retrieved her key an hour ago. He told her not to worry about the curse because it wouldn't affect anyone who touched it without malicious intent. Big thank you to all the commenters who suggested that absolutely gold approach. My ex-husband and I have been divorced for more than 2 years now. We have a young son who I have sole custody of, and he visits his father once a week. A few months ago, I was promoted in my job and got the opportunity to go on a business trip to South Korea. I was reluctant to go because it meant I had to be separated from my son for 4 months, but I knew it would benefit us in the long run, so I decided to go. My son stayed with his father and his new wife. The truth is, I've held a bit of a grudge against this woman. They were co-workers and knew each other before we got divorced. So when our marriage began deteriorating, I had a gut feeling that something was going on between them, but I didn't have enough evidence to prove it, so I never said anything. But not even 1 month after we divorced, the two of them got together, which proves my suspicions correct, but of course he'd never admit it. When I got back from my business trip, I went to my ex's house to pick up my son and saw him there with his wife. I called out to him, and to my dismay, he didn't come running to me and just continued playing with his stepmom. I had to go over and pick him up before he'd finally acknowledge me. He fussed around and didn't want to go when we were leaving, staying glued to her side. Clearly they'd bonded when I was gone, and maybe I was being petty, but it made me really jealous and upset, like I'd been betrayed. When I finally got him in the car, he poked his head out and said, "Bye, Mommy," which shocked me. Apparently she'd told him to call her that. Now when we're at home, he would frequently ask to go to his dad's house outside of the visiting day and say he missed Mommy. I told him I was his mommy, and he said, "I'm talking about the other mommy." I was honestly heartbroken. My son had been very attached to me ever since he was born, but now it seems like his attitude has completely changed. I didn't want them to grow closer, and I figured that if he could grow distant with me after not seeing me for a while, he would probably forget about the wife in a couple of weeks. So I told his dad the next time he came to pick him up not to go to his house if his wife was there. He asked me why, and I said that she was causing a rift between my son and me. He called me crazy and began to leave, but I told him I was serious and I wouldn't let our son go with him unless he promised. He agreed, but when my son got home, I asked him what he did, and he said he and Mommy and Daddy went to the mall. This seriously irritated me, so I called my ex and asked him why he broke his promise. He said I was acting ridiculous and had no right to keep him from his family, except that I do, and this woman wasn't her parent, so she was not entitled to spend time with him. My former in-laws even called me up and said what I was doing was selfish and petty. Am I the idiot? The thought of my child calling anyone else mommy breaks my heart. I feel for you. However, yes, you are jealous and being petty. You know this. It's wonderful your son has another parental figure in his life that takes care of him and he adores. Your son doesn't know about the possible infidelity, and honestly, it does not matter. What matters is your son. Love is limitless. Love is unconditional. You are being the idiot. I agree that OP is being ridiculous, but I'm still side-eyeing stepmom for saying he should call her mommy. I'm almost wondering if the stepmom is jealous that he's OP's son and not hers. I mean, she got the husband, and now she's trying to get the kid? That screams jealousy and strange to me. I almost wonder if she'll try and convince the son that she's his real mommy. I also have a son. I agree that I too would be heartbroken in this scenario, but also I would be nervous about this lady's intentions with my kid. OP left her young child for 4 months. That's traumatic for a child and might have been grounds for abandonment. So yes, I agree with your kind words, but what did OP expect? Of course the child will bond with his caretaker, who was actually there for him. Why didn't OP take her child with her? Does she have custody? Or refuse to go? Ugh. For me, everyone's the idiot here. OP for the way she's acting, obviously, but I also think that the ex and his wife suck because apparently she told the kid to call her mommy and the father hasn't corrected that. I also think the father sucks for taking care of his child for 4 months straight and then being okay to go back to see him only once a week. It makes me wonder who actually took care of that child for 4 months. I can't believe that the parents thought this would be a good idea to begin with. I just want to know if I'm being too sensitive. So I have a diary in which I write a lot. It's been with me for 5 years, including very intimate moments. Basically my intimate. It includes things like my crushes and relationships, body issues, social media account info, aka my literal passwords, and even things that I would never willingly share, like my private interests and what I like to look for in a partner. My parents would always preach privacy to my siblings and me as a child. Looking back at my childhood, I can see that they preached this idea way too much. I guess that's why in my mind I would never have expected my privacy to be breached in this way. Okay, so in the middle of the night I woke up incredibly thirsty and went down to grab a drink, and to my shock, I saw my mom, dad, and siblings sitting together on the sofa with my diary in hand. I was so confused that I couldn't utter a single word. So I just went up, snatched my water bottle and my diary, went back to my room and just stayed there. The next day in private, I dragged my parents to another room and asked them what I saw yesterday. At first they tried to play it off as an accident. I saw all 4 people around my diary, but after more pressure, they admitted that they have constantly been reading my diary with my siblings and their excuse was, We just wanted to make sure our son is okay. I was angry, but mainly embarrassed because I knew what was inside my diary. Hence, I phoned one of my friends who was looking for a roommate, and he agreed. So, over the next few days, I secretly removed my stuff and moved it to his house, and eventually, by the end of the week, I was gone. Once at his house, I just broke down. I just couldn't imagine that all my privacy was breached by the people who would preach respecting privacy to me the most. My parents tried calling, but I ignored them, and my siblings kept texting saying I was too sensitive and even insulted me by mentioning some of the private stuff they read in my diary, so I blocked them and changed all my passwords. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but your parents sure are. What they did was a gross violation of privacy. Good for you for moving out. But get your papers from home, birth certificate, etc. Then at least go change your phone number. My God, they're awful. I'd think I'd go zero contact over this. OP's family is freaking awful, and his siblings making little insulting jabs using private info from his diary to get under his skin is so vile. Just imagining someone's family sitting around and bonding over reading their kids' or siblings' stolen private diary makes my blood boil. I can see a concerned parent taking a peek at a diary when they notice their kid is showing some concerning behavior and won't open up. Of course, it's not right to read the diary, but I could understand the urge in that case, but not to be diabolical in nature, but to regularly read it and share it with siblings? I don't see how that could be justified at any time. When I was 17, I found out that my dad wasn't my father. Because I was an idiot teenager and curious, I searched social media and also found out that my biological father had another kid. So I had a half-sister, technically. She and I talked for a while, she wanted to meet up, but I wasn't really into it. It felt like forcing a friendship. Life moved on. Whenever people ask if I have siblings, I say no. However, I don't feel like it's a lie because she and I weren't raised together and barely talked. When I started dating my boyfriend, we did the whole "do you have siblings" blah blah. I said no. Then, the other day, together a year now, we talked about family nonsense. I said that my dad wasn't my father and that when I was 17, I found out I had a half-sister. I was expecting him to go, "Wow, weird," or something, but he got weird and said, "Well, you said you were an only child, so you lied." So we went back and forth with me explaining and re-explaining, then he dropped it. Then, the next day, he brought it up again. How it's weird that I lied about having a sister, and he's so close with his brothers he can't believe someone wouldn't want a relationship with their own sister. I lied about that, so what else did I lie about? He's been acting weird since. Am I the idiot for saying I'm an only child? Not the idiot. You may biologically have a half-sibling, but if that sibling hasn't been a part of your life, then why would you class them as such? It's irrelevant information that has no bearing on your dating. People get very hung up on blood. Just because you're blood doesn't mean you're family. Your biological father isn't a dad to you and never has been. Therefore, it's more than reasonable to not consider your half-sister your sibling. You didn't grow up with her, nor do you know her. Your boyfriend is clearly the idiot. Acting like it's a lie to say you were an only child when you don't know your father or half-sister is very tone-deaf and insensitive. I really dislike your boyfriend saying you lied. There's something wrong with him for reacting so accusatory towards you. He's twisting your situation. At the very least, he should ask about how you felt about discovering you discovered a biological relationship. He then attributes his feelings without considering that you shouldn't have to feel as he does, as if you have to feel how he would. Your family situation is your own business. Boyfriend sounds either very immature, controlling, or someone looking for drama. 5 years ago I got married and I had a custom wedding dress made by my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law has since passed in a car accident. It was so unexpected and it broke my husband's heart. We are saving the wedding dress for my daughter, who was named after my mother-in-law. My cousin Gigi, no direct blood relationship, my mother-in-law, wants to wear my wedding dress. She, her mother and my granny are all on this warpath that this is her dream dress and I should let her wear it. It would be a tribute to my mother-in-law. Again, this is my side of my family and no direct relationship to my mother-in-law. Gigi was obsessed with my wedding dress when I had it, and she has already said she wanted to wear it. Gigi is not my size, much larger boobs and hips, so the dress would have to be majorly altered. My husband said no, he wants to have our daughter wear it when she's grown up and have it altered for her or turned into a veil. My daughter is under a year and my family said that's years off and I should let them borrow it now. My cousin has turned petty at my refusal and has disinvited my parents, siblings, and their children. She told me that I cost her thousands of dollars because she's had to pay for a dress to look like mine. She's also mad because I won't lend her my dress to have it copied because I 100% don't trust her with it. My auntie and granny have banned me from their life over this because it's the one thing my cousin has wanted since she saw me in my wedding dress. If I don't do this, I was told I'm cut off from any events my granny hosts, and my mom is too because she's raised such a selfish and entitled daughter. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, she's only entitled to what she can afford. Put the dress into a safe place, not at the house. It's not safe for it to be where they could possibly get it. They're being ridiculous. However, please don't pressure your daughter to wear it when she's older. She deserves her own dream. Agreed. Also, OP, I just text everyone. Since stealing my wedding dress is more important than your relationship with me, I'm going to block all of you. Sadly, we won't have Christmases together. You won't see my child grow up. You won't be part of our lives at all. But this is the choice you've made, and you have to live with that. Then I block them on everything. If they stop getting a reaction from you, they might just realize how stupid this whole thing is and move on. Not the idiot, but your family has inspired me. There's an amazing apartment with a terrace in my building that I've wanted ever since we moved in. I'm going to knock on their door and demand the apartment because apparently you're automatically entitled to it if you see something you like.